Yes.
So we're back again, Dee, for Pro Golf Gals, and this time we thought we would talk to you about the 5 worst things we think that you can do for your golf game. How are you, Dee?
I'm good, Annie. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. And we must thank all our new subscribers for joining up our channel, mustn't we, Dee?
We do. We really appreciate you all subscribing, pressing that little red button after you've watched the video, because you know how we've set our goals and we depend on you subscribing. So thank each and every one of you for doing that.
Yes, we started on January the 1st with 73. We're now up to 471. So that is very exciting in just a few months. So thank you all so much for that. And if you haven't subscribed, then click that little red button and you'll be the first to get all our new videos. They come out every single week. Okay, and today's video I think is a good one. We're going to talk about the things you are doing for your golf game that could be holding you back and costing you shots and just costing you enjoyment of your game, I think. Yeah.
So Annie, why don't you give the first one?
The first one. Well, this one is our number one, and it is not getting any lessons ever.
Ever.
And then I'm sure there's a lot of people that never get any lessons and they just kind of plod along, and you really can only get so good. You can only really get to your own kind of capacity, as it were, as a golfer without any help. It's like anything in life. If you get help from people who know what they're doing, life is just so much easier.
Yeah, it's a shortcut. It's shortening the path to your success. I think, Annie, too, inside that, you don't want people who would just go, you don't want to just go and have a lesson and it doesn't work, so you get another coach. You need to give your coach and yourself time to gel and to work together.
That's a big mistake that people make, isn't it? They want the quick fix, or they'll have a lesson, they don't do any practice on the lesson, and then expect it to work and it doesn't, so they'll either just not get any more lessons or go to a different coach, as you say, you know. So find someone that you like, that you resonate with, and then get a little program going. You've got lots of great programs, Dee, haven't you?
Thanks, Annie. I have a few.
It's the program, isn't it? It's not just go and get a lesson and that's it. It's like get into a program. It doesn't have to be for the rest of your life. Like do 6 months worth of a lesson once a month. Like that's a great start, right?
I generally like people to do a bit of intense work to start with, and then we ease it off, and then just staying in touch with them. So it's really important. You know, if you're going to a doctor because you're ill, or a surgeon, you don't go and see a butcher. I know the butcher cuts up meat, but you don't want that butcher cutting you up. So it's the same sort of thing, you know, like go to a good professional and seek that professional out.
And you'd be surprised how much easier they can make your life golf-wise. And just have someone to support your journey through golf, right? Someone you can ask, you know, what am I doing wrong when this happens? Or, you know, what club should I use in this situation? It's just really nice to have sort of someone to hold your hand a little bit, don't you think?
Yeah.
I just think it's a great...
100%. It's not just about the technique as well when you're getting good coaching. It's a very holistic approach. So, you know, there is the technique. It's getting the right swing for you that suits your body build, your biomechanics. It's getting the course strategy that suits you, the mental side, your equipment. It's a holistic approach. You're never going to get that in just one lesson. You know, it's kind of a farce, really, this one lesson thing.
So our... fault number 2, or we're probably not calling them faults, but the second thing that is going to hold your game back is not doing any practice in between your play at all, or only playing in comp rounds, Dee.
Oh, my pet hate. I think it's yours as too.
Yes.
Pet hate is I'm really looking forward to seeing how, especially at the private clubs during this period where they're not playing competition, I really feel people are going to start improving their game, because when they're out playing and there's no competition, there's going to be less stress on them, so they're going to be more relaxed. They can try some different sorts of shots, so they're not afraid to experiment out in the golf course. So, and you know, the less stress you have, or lowering, this sounds bad, lowering your expectations causes less stress, and you can do that when you're playing socially.
That's right. And you can try out different shots. Try out that shot over the bunker that you would never have the courage to try, or throw down a second ball if the first one doesn't work, you know. It's practicing on the course, that not in a comp. You know, it's like the pros, we're not saying everyone has to be like a pro, but the pros practice so much more than they play. They'll go practice, 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 put it under pressure. Practice, 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 put it under pressure. Now, if you took an amateur, it'd be put it under pressure, put it under pressure, put it under pressure, maybe go to the range for half an hour, put it under pressure, put it it's just, it's nobody can succeed in that environment, you know.
I look at it, Annie, a bit like if you've got a car and all you do is drive the car, and you never service it or never look after it. You know, you just dump all the rubbish in it, just don't look after the engine, don't look after the oil. Your car ends up being a total wreck.
Yeah.
And inside the car is very untidy as well because you haven't tidied up.
Or imagine you took up piano, or music lessons, and you got the basics, and then they said now you're going to go and perform in that concerto twice a week, and I'm never going to teach you anything ever again. Just you're on your own now, but you've got to perform in a concerto twice a week. It's just crazy how little, you know, a golf away from comps that the average golfer gets. Yeah.
And I think what you said earlier, Annie, is very important, is you've got to practice, but practice doesn't mean belting 1,000 golf balls. Practice is, there's a whole combination, but, you know, you practice with a purpose. You may be doing your drills where you're really thinking and conscious of it. Then you let go of that and start trusting it more. And that's how you want to be when you play. So you really need to sort of practice. You need to practice trusting yourself as well on the golf course and off the golf course. So no competition is going to be good.
By your side, he or she's going to help you to learn how to practice and give you drills and give you some programs to go and, you know, go and do this and go and do that. And that's why it's also ties in well with having some lessons as well. You'll know what to practice then. There's nothing worse than practicing the wrong thing, right?
And it's also, you know, like a lot of our videos, our subscribers will see are lots of drills, because even if that drill isn't totally for you, it's never going to harm you. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, you know, drills are like having your coach with you, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So number 3 is not warming up before you go and play. And a lot of people just sort of run onto the first tee and they're stiff, and then they've blown the first 3 or 4 holes, and then the round's kind of stuffed. So warming up is important before you go and play, even if it's just a short warm up.
Yeah, and a lot of subscribers might say, and I know a few of my students say, oh, but there's nowhere we can warm up. But, you know, there may not be a practice net, but most places have a practice net. But even if they don't have a practice net, there are certain stretches you can do that are really good. And we might do a video on those stretches. There's stretches I got from Ramsey McMaster, which are great stretches. I think we've done something on it. And even just a few little swings and then building up. And most places have a putting green, so at least you can get the feel of putts. So, but yeah.
If all else fails, do some stretches in the locker room and then have a few swings away from the tee. At least you're physically, you might not have connected with a ball, which would be ideal. But if you can't do that, then at least have some swings and warm up your muscles before you know. And some people don't even have a practice swing before each shot. So imagine not having a warm-up and then not even having a practice swing before you hit your first shot. It's pretty crazy that you can expect to hit a good shot, you know. Okay, now our number 4 thing that's going to kill your game is to have no pre-shot routine or no kind of preparation thought process before each shot.
Yes. People say they have a pre-shot routine, and they do. When you say you got a pre-shot routine, they do it. But then if you're out on the golf course with them on a playing lesson, you see they'd be lucky if they do it 8% of the time. Right, you know, so they never do the same routine.
Yeah, and that's the big reason you have it, is that you are doing something the same every time. Slows you down, gets you focusing, cuts out the distractions, calms you down. Sometimes if you're nervous, the action of going through that process calms you down, gets you into the mode for the shot.
Yeah, and I think the other vital thing about the pre-shot routine, it kind of, this sounds a bit complicated, but it's not. It's, you know, it gets you going through using your left brain, which is a logical brain, to the right, which is the creative. So you go left, right, and then when you're playing, it's all right. When you're swinging, it's all right. Means you're just being creative, not a lot of intellectual thought going on. So your pre-shot routine has that happening all the time. And like you said, it calms you down. That's the important thing. It calms you down, like an airline pilot taking off. You know, he goes through his checklist.
Yeah, exactly. And I do have an example of a pre-shot routine, a little video I've done, so I'll pop a link to that up as well.
Right.
So you can see an example of it. If you're not sure what to do for a pre-shot routine, it doesn't have to be very elaborate or take a long time. Quite simple, but just something that you do. Might be stand behind, check out where your target is, come around, have a practice swing and fire away. It could be as simple as that, couldn't it, Dee?
Should take no longer than 15 to 23 seconds is your pre-shot routine.
So it's quite short. And if you watch golf on TV, you will not watch a single pro that doesn't have a very, very solid, repeatable pre-shot routine. So that's your number 4. Now, number 5, and this one is a bit of a doozy that most pros have a bit of a bugbear about, Dee, and it's the taking advice from all your mates and all your friends when you're on the golf course, and ending up with, too much going on, too much to think about, that kind of thing. It's a game full of armchair experts, I think, golf, out of all the different sports.
So, and I'm sure people are just doing it though, Annie, because they want to help.
Yeah, and it's understandable. It's understandable. And also, if you're not playing well, sometimes you're like clutching at straws. You'll take on board anything that might help, but it's down the track, it's not going to help your game.
No. And by the end of it, you're thinking, during the swing, you're thinking of, oh, that's right, I have to have a grip here, and then my hubby said I have to do this, and then my partner said this, and then the leg did this, and blah, 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 blah. You can't even
do much. And generally people will tell you what you've done wrong. They won't tell you how to do it right, or they won't know how to. So you get this long list of negative things. You've lifted your head, you've swung too quick, you've XYZ'd, and all you're thinking is what you shouldn't have done, and that's not going to help you do it the right way, even if they did know how to tell you to do it the right way. And being on the middle of a golf course is not the place to try and change it anyway. So if you can shut out what people are saying to you, I know that's not easy either sometimes, because you don't want to be rude. But if you can just say, look, I'm getting lessons at the moment, so I don't want any more information, or something like that. I don't know.
What I say to my students, I say to them 2 things, because they don't want to be rude, because they're all so nice. First one is, you might want to edit this, but the first one is that I go, you say to them, thank you very much, but I've got this golf coach who said, unless you shoot under 75, I'm to take no notice of you. That's for 18 holes, not 9.
That'll put them in their place, won't it?
That puts them in their place really quickly. I always say, blame your coach. That's
my coach told me I'm not allowed to listen to anybody else.
Yeah. Well, she won't. But it's interesting, if you do play golf with a good player being someone 5 and under or something, you will notice the better the player, the less they tell you about technical things. The higher handicapper always wants to tell someone who's on a slightly higher handicap.
And as golf pros on the course, we tend to not want to give a lot of information, because we know it can't just give you a 2-second tip. It's never like
no.
Okay, and we've got a bonus tip to finish us off today, because we didn't want to leave this one out, because we thought it was quite important, but probably not in our top 5. But we didn't want to leave it out, and we think it's a big one, because you're out there to enjoy yourself, and if you're not enjoying yourself and you're just getting grumpy and cross, then that's going to affect your game negatively as well. So appreciate being out there, Dee.
Yeah, enjoy the walk, see the butterflies, look at the view. And here's the thing, I think, when we're out there, most people don't have the right, they expect, this sounding cruel, don't mean to sound cruel, but our expectations are far too high for where our ability level is. So expectations, and if you lower your expectations, you create less stress, and less stress will help you perform.
Yeah,
absolutely. I had some notes, I got here some statistics.
Oh, I like some statistics.
So the statistics are, this was from the PGA, this is for a whole PGA thing, but it's how many greens in regulation which people know what that means. The par 4, you're on it in 2.
Yeah.
If you're shooting between 88 and 98, I wonder how many greens in regulation you would hit.
Well,
what the average is.
You shot 90, that puts you on about a 18 handicap. So you're not hitting any greens in regulation. You're hitting every green in 1 over regulation. So, technically speaking.
Yeah, on average, if you shoot between 88 and 98 and it's a par 72, you'll hit 3 greens in regulation.
Yeah.
If you're shooting 78 to 85, it's 6. Shooting 65 to 71, PGA Tour doing very well. They hit 12.7.
Yeah, there you go.
And how many sand saves do they make? Under 88, 98 to 88, they don't make any sand saves. You're shooting 78 to 85, you make 7%. So it's not many. Even the PGA Tour do 57%. So I think our expectations are that we think we've got to be,
and then we get grumpy.
We get miserable and have a lousy time.
Instead of having expectations of playing well, it might be better to set yourself a goal when you tee off that today all I'm going to do is appreciate being here, or all I'm going to do is stay positive no matter how poorly I hit the shot. So controlling the things you can control rather than the scoring and the different shots you hit and that sort of thing. And then you'll stay positive, and then you're going to get your best potential game, and you're going to have more fun as well.
And how often when people are really sick, this is good, I've got a headache, or I'm sick, or a hangover, or something they've got,
they've hurt their
and
back.
They have no expectations, and they go out and play super. Beware of the sick golfer, beware of the person with the hangover, because they're like, I just got to get through here.
Yeah, exactly. So
we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye for now. Bye from ProGolfGals.
Bye, Annie. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Don't forget the subscribe button.
That's right.